Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Everyone doing all right? I think everything should be working, but please do let me know if it does or not. Another awful title says cred. Yeah, I mean, you know me. If it's always gonna be an awful title with me. That's my kind of skill, making the worst titles. Sounds good. Nice. Good to see you guys again. I kind of missed this. It's been a while. Almost a full month, and took me like 2 or 3 weeks to start missing this. So glad to be back. So like 5 people saying everything is good, video and sound, and then one guy saying sounds bad. I'm not entirely sure if that guy just accidentally tuned down his sound, but I'm believing everyone else. Creds in the comments roasting me again. Good to be back. Good to be back. Before we start, shout out to the sponsor of the show, which is FTX, formerly known as Blockfolio. Their links are in the description if you want to check them out. They have pretty much the best mobile app to kind of swap in and out of coins. Everything non-leverage, so you degens can't get leveraged. Otherwise, I wouldn't promote it because I know that like everyone is gonna get liquidated. That I refer to anywhere. It's just been my experience. So yeah, it's a place like it's something that you should check out if you're interested in mobile, doing anything mobile in crypto, basically. So yeah, appreciate their support and obviously appreciate you guys for coming back, even though I've been gone for so long. Liquidated? Did I say that? I don't think I said that. Creds taking advantage of me being weak to COVID. My brain's like literally not fully working. So if I say stupid shit, let me know. Like more stupid shit than I usually do, because I mean I do talk about stupid shit all the time. But if it's excessively stupid, you should let me know so I can correct it. So yeah, I've been gone, and the markets have like legitimately not moved the entire time I was gone. Like we had early in the month, we had a down move, right? And then it stopped moving for the next few weeks, pretty much the exact time when I was gone, which is nice. Really appreciate that. Always nice to kind of leave and then come back to the exact same price, even more so when it's like a month-long vacation. Right now, we're at monthly support-ish. So that's at least something. It's also range midpoint-ish of the monthly range. So yeah, monthly is okay looking, not too terrible, not too pretty. I don't necessarily like when you have a breakout like this. Let me draw this properly. When you have a breakout like this that doesn't do anything. But like I said, we're at support, and I could see it range in there. I could see honestly this entire thing play out as a range, right? So we have like this as a range, and it just keeps on going for like half a year or something. That'd be something I think would be constructive. We've had plenty of those before. Long ranges that eventually start breaking out of. And I mean, these kind of like, you still have price action to trade, right? But I mean, given that we've had these kind of crazy up moves in the last few years, just makes sense to kind of take a little bit of time. So high time frame, nothing to worry about, given it's been up only, but that doesn't really help you much, right? The more interesting time frames are the lower ones, which, for example, the weekly, I think this is also range, right? Pretty much the same range as the monthly. You have range high here, you have range low here, and then you have this fail breakout, which is always a bad sign, right? And we talked about this before I left. Let me actually draw this real quick just to make it more apparent what I'm talking about. Like you have this kind of range, right? And you could argue you've had a range fake out to the downside here, led to the up move. You had a range fake out to the upside, to the downside here, to the upside here, that led to the down move, right? The last time we've had this went immediately to range high. You could argue, and I think it's actually not the worst argument to make, that we're gonna go back to range low, right? Just based on like how this has acted, and that's just Bitcoin. ETH is doing something relatively similar right now, so there's a little bit of confluence there. But yeah, that's something that you could be saying. Me personally, I'm not entirely sure if I want to target like 32K. It's a little bit low for me. I'm currently just taking it at like one support level at the time, right? So it's not going to help me much by targeting like 32K. If it does happen, I'm going to buy there in that area. But until it does happen, I'm just going to be waiting for massive wicks, basically. Like let's say we break down here, wick into 37K and then bounce back up. That'd be like an entry signal for me. There's a bunch of stuff that can happen that would make me bullish. What we're doing right now is not necessarily the one thing that makes me bullish, right? So the monthly time frame, like I said, it's not terrible. It's just ranging, but the weekly time frame looks kind of shitty with this fake breakout to the upside. And then with like supports being hit and price not doing anything, right? Like whenever you have like a down move into a support level, like you have a support level here, and then the price does this, it's usually a shitty sign, right? That's something that you don't want to be seeing. Because if you're bullish, what usually happens, like even if it is bullish, right? Usually like you get at least like the fake out to the downside, relatively similar to this one. Or in general, it just breaks down. And then like as a bull, that's not something you want to see. If you're bearish positioned since like 60K, this is exactly what you want to be seeing, because if it goes sideways for long enough, it actually has some fuel to have another bigger leg to the downside, right? So bears should be happy seeing this, bulls not so much. That said, I think if we start breaking above 52K-ish again, it looks a lot different, because then you don't have the threat. And this is something we actually talked about in the area of 60K, of this like ugly ass head and shoulders thing to play out, right? With like a target of 32K. You start invalidating those like bears, the aggressive bears that are shorting the right shoulder, or like what they think is going to be the right shoulder. And you open up the possibility of like 60K plus again. So I think if we start going back above 52, there's a good chance that we go to 60K, and that would be obviously resistance. But I wouldn't want to short that. It doesn't really make much sense, even though it's like really strong range resistance. The reason why is because at that point, I think if it does move up, it moves up massively. So the short, not really my kind of play. So where that leaves us is basically market looks kind of shitty on the weekly time frame. I'm not looking to buy at all. I sold into 60K, or almost anyway, and quite happy having done that. And I'd be more than willing to buy any wicks to the downside, or like if we have another leg, any consolidation into the 30K area. Right here, right now, not my kind of cup of tea, because either we're getting this, right? And then I'm starting to be interested again. That would be like, look like this, kind of wick into 40K, maybe even a little bit below it, and then come back up again. That opens up like a good trade towards 60K, I think. Or it just goes straight up, but there's like no real trade for me here, because we've spent a couple weeks in this area, and we have a bunch of stops basically in the 45K area. And I don't want to be the guy that has to set the stop like at 30K-ish for a trade towards 60K. Like, I don't see the risk reward here. That's why I'm not trading it. Much rather wait for a setup to form that I can actually trade. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of boring. It's basically me saying the market looks like shit. I hope it wipes out so I can actually buy some. But that's how it is. If it goes up instead, I think, and I mean, yeah, I think like there would be a play to be made above 52 And if you're like super cautious above 60k, because if it goes back below above 60k, I don't see why it wouldn't go to 80, 90, 100k. Doesn't want to buy support, doesn't want to sell resistance. Very useful, thanks. Yep, that's basically it. I mean, I wanna buy support. I just don't want to buy this support because this one's shitty. I'd be happy to buy 32 if it wicks down there, and I'd be happy to buy in between somewhere if it wicks down there too. Because these weekly supports, what they do, right? What they oftentimes do is that you get a wick through them first and then they act their part, right? So in this instance, for example, I've had this for a while on my chart. We wicked through it, right? And everyone that bought it the first time around could have gotten fucked by this wick, right? It's oftentimes the case where people are like, okay, this weekly support didn't do shit, but that's not the case. It just takes a while, right? Usually these like weekly supports just take a week or two to kind of attract price. Prices usually start closing around them at some point, and then you get the price action you want to see. So like down here at 46k, that was like one of them. Started closing into the support, and then you get a nice bounce. But what happened was pretty much the first resistance immediately swatted price back down again, and that's not something you like to see. So yeah, I'm not too excited. On the short side of things, I mean, you can short pretty much, like if you're thinking that the top's in, anything close to 60k is a decent short with an invalidation above there, but that's so far away at this point. Like if you didn't take it weeks and weeks ago, there's no trade to be had there. That's why I said like I wouldn't want to be shorting resistance, because if it goes back to resistance, it just seems like a shitty trade at this point. Like there was opportunity, ample opportunity to do so at 60k. Duck forgot there are people in the chat. No. I can't multitask when I'm like sick with COVID, haven't done this in a month. So forgive me for being slow, because I will be a little bit slow this stream. But I mean, we'll make do. Market looks garbage. I mean, Bitcoin looks garbage. You have to go through the rest, but I mean, it's not only Bitcoin. Like spoiler warning, it's not only Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean, this support could do its job, right? It's not like you want to be bearish into support. It's just when you have a support that gets tested more times, like more than 2 or 3 times, starts getting like really dicey to buy it, because yeah, you know that everyone else that bought it has the stop loss somewhere in the near vicinity, and you don't want to be one of the guys basically when the liquidation engine starts rolling. It's okay, I shielded the top tick weekly resistance on Monday, Chad. Okay. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. I'm like I said, if you want to be looking at the support on the higher time frames, look at 43. Maybe a wick below that first. That's an interesting one. And then if it all goes to shit, it's 32, which I know is far away, but that's life, right? When you go from basically 4K to 60, 70K, there's going to be 50% retraces on the way. It's just how it is. On the lower time frames, on daily, for example, and I don't know why there's so many lines on this. I must have fucked it up in the past. But on lower time frames, there's really not that much. I'm actually going to use this. Fuck it. I'm too lazy to make a new one. This one doesn't belong here. Okay. This one's weekly, it's fine. Okay, so like on the lower time frames, it's basically been a ping pong between support and resistance. And there's a few ways you can draw this. I don't actually mind this one too much. But that one got chopped to bits, right? So that's why I'm using this one. But what basically has been happening is price goes from support to resistance to support to resistance. So we're ranging in this kind of giant range between 45 and 52. And not a good area to range in, I feel like, because we desperately need to go back above this hump, right? Because, I mean, like I showed earlier on the other time frames, starting to look like an ugly Head and Shoulders. People were making fun of me for making like a Head and Shoulders kind of warning in here, and I played out pretty nicely. If we do the same thing, I could see the same kind of prices hitting, right? It's the same area that we've hit. Price wise, don't want to see like too long of a consolidation here. The longer this goes, the more bearish I think it gets. And in general, I feel like bears have the upper hand here. That will change if we start breaking above 52K as well. So it's pretty much the exact same situation on the weekly. So the weekly time frame is basically just one-to-one the daily time frame, just because the daily hasn't really been doing much, right? And on the daily time frame, support-wise, there's really not that much there. This is like all choppy in here. So that means that the lower time frame guys are gonna get fucked over by the higher time frame guys, which just makes my job easier because I'm more of a high time frame trader. But it makes you as a lower time frame trader have a harder time. Besides like these kind of low time frame ranges, this one's a pretty clean one, and I think there could be another leg in it. Like we're pretty close to support. Maybe go back to the mid range ish. Like there's some place to be made there. It's just not my cup of tea. I'd much rather play at the higher time frames. See if we get like a high time frame wick to the downside that I can bid or something. My man doesn't have Sol, Luna, AVAX in his watch list, but at least he has QDIM, ICX, and Komodo. Yeah, I mean, I do have like a couple ones. One that I stole from you that I nowadays look at more often. But yeah, like I honestly think like the only few charts that I've looked at in the last few weeks have been the top ones here. But yeah, not the lower ones, not too interesting anymore. That's just how crypto goes, by the way. For the people that are new, this watch list was top of the list back in 2018, 2019. Now no one gives a shit about these coins anymore, and that's gonna be the same with the coins that Tret just mentioned, which are the like Sol, Luna, AVAX coins. They're gonna be long gone in 2022, 23, 24. Crypto, just like you get the old coins and then you get newer coins. They are exciting, and the new coin guys are laughing about the old coins, and then you get new ones and new ones. Just keeps on repeating. So if you stick around in the old coins too long, you're keeping you're holding the outdated stuff that no one cares about anymore. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. More interesting than the lower time frames from Bitcoin, I think, is ETH. ETH's been doing pretty much the exact same thing Bitcoin's been doing, with a delay, which I fucking hate to say, because I had hopes for ETH. Let me actually get this away from here. I had hopes for ETH, but I mean, you can see this. Let's actually do this on a clean time frame. So breakout above all-time high, move down, right? And now we look at ETH, break up above the all-time high, and I mean, so far nothing's confirmed yet. We could still move towards the end of the week, and there's still a few days left in this week. But what this currently looks like is basically Bitcoin 2.0, which ETH holders obviously don't want to see, right? So this is ETH, this is Bitcoin, and if that materializes, ETH is gonna drag down Bitcoin with it, and that is, I think, the easiest way to go back to 30K is if ETH starts losing 4K on the weekly time frame. Because there's no real good support till like 3K or even lower on ETH, which would make it really easy for Bitcoin to go to 30K. So that's a little bit of confidence there. I'm still much more bearish on Bitcoin than I'm on ETH, but I don't think, like, if Bitcoin breaks down, ETH is gonna break down, and ETH is starting to look very, very shaky. It looked strong this kind of like a million tests of support and then falling through it action is not something that has me too excited. So yeah, this is not really a price action you want to see. Not looking too strong on the weekly time frame. Monthly time frame still completely fine, obviously, and the lower time frames are just beyond choppy. And that has been the name of the game for both Bitcoin and ETH. Like the lower time frame guys have not been having much fun. There's some lines you can draw that you could have traded off of, but it's mostly choppy. And I'm not gonna make you like watch that. I could draw some like, I mean, whenever you have like breakdowns, you can do these. But like, I mean, even if you saw that resistance, this resistance got tested so many times that there's a good chance that you just wouldn't have taken the trade to the downside, right? You would have had the pattern traders look at this. I don't even know if this was on Twitter, but I bet it was, even though the pattern traders have been kind of going extinct, saying like ascending triangle, whatever, and it fails down. There's not too much there, right, on the lower time frames. It's much more productive on the higher time frames. And the higher time frame right now is saying, be a little bit careful. It's still at support, right? Support's holding. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like every single week has tested the support, right? For the last 7 weeks. This one basically did it. This one did. This one did. This one did. This one closed that support. This one had like a little bit of positive price action, and then again into the 4K support. And right now we're trading below it. So not really the most amazing price action. And then if you look at the log scale, I mean, this starts like that starts to look scary. So yeah, I still have ETH. Gonna wait for the weekly close. I basically got back from my holiday and was like actually like thinking about selling. But when I got back home and ready to start selling, we basically had this candle, and then I was like, okay, fuck it, too late already. So now I'm in the same boat as you guys, just sitting there, seeing how the weekly is gonna close. If it closes below support, I'm probably just gonna get out, and then it's gonna be like me taking a trade from just below 3K to middle of the 3K-ish side of things, which is not really a groundbreaking kind of gain. But then again, that's what happens when you play for the big swings. You get like a few like minor wins, minor losses, and then big wins are rare, but sometimes happen. And I mean, I'm just glad I sold Bitcoin into 60Ks. So it didn't give back too much on Bitcoin. Gonna give back more on ETH if it does not start picking up soon. Is that clear? Is there anything you guys want to know about Bitcoin, about ETH? If not, we can just do something, like talk about something else. This stream is bearish as fuck. We are done, guys. Not necessarily, but I mean, I'm not biggest fan of how the market looks right now. That can change really quick though. And I mean, I haven't been in the market like for Bitcoin. I sold Bitcoin at 60K, or like I say 60K. There's gonna be like reply guys giving me my like saying, okay, you didn't sell 60K, you sold 50.9. So be it. But in the 60K area, I'm quite glad I did that, because that saves me a headache from having to trade this garbage, right? I'd much rather buy back into 60K if I have to, or buy lower down. So like, I don't have a headache for Bitcoin. I do have a little bit of a headache for ETH, right? Even if this plays out to the bullish side, it's gonna be difficult to trade it on Bitcoin. ETH, I mean, if it turns back around towards end of week, that'd be quite good. Don back from holiday, market nukes explain. I mean, who knows what happened there? Don't blame me. Can you talk about Africa? This chart is depressing. Sure, yeah. I mean, Africa was great. Saw the big five, did a little bit of kite surfing, even though the wind wasn't excellent. pretty unlucky on that front. And had a good time with good friends, caught some COVID. Good trip, would do again. Hey Don, do you think Bitcoin USD is forming a head and shoulders? I mean, you could argue it. I'm not really against arguing it. I don't like. It's an ugly one for sure. Like this is really ugly. But I mean, this one was like somewhat ugly. It still played out, right? So could see the same thing happen again. It doesn't have to though. Like, but it. I mean, the chart isn't really pretty right now. Looks like it either wants to go sideways for eternity or to go down. Could be wrong on that, obviously. We'll see. In like around New Year's is always weird price action because people are figuring out their taxes, a bunch of stuff, right? So like it's gonna be interesting how we go into January. I'm not gonna do any like big positioning in like going into the new year. My positioning is done. I hope anyway. If ETH like invalidates me, I'm gonna have to close a position from last year into next year, like from this year into next year, which would suck. I'd much rather have it closed before. So not entirely sure I'm gonna do that just yet. But yeah, I'm not gonna do much repositioning going into the new year. Starting, like I'm gonna start to do that into like starting January. Which country did you go to? Tanzania. So, yeah, I didn't want to share before because fucking hell, I don't trust. Like I trust 99.9% of you guys, but who the fuck knows? Like that one crazy fucking guy that lurks in every bigger crowd. I don't want to deal with. So I was like, not gonna share. Show Sol Luna AVAX? Nah, thanks, man. Like I'm gonna like. The thing is, Cred. I'm gonna show Sol, and then it looks like garbage. Like, what the fuck do you want me to talk about on this one? It's just going sideways. And Sol USD actually like these coins starting to look like shit. And I don't want to talk shit about the strongest performers because I'm 100% gonna be like. The thing is, like Solana, for example, right, has been outperforming the entire way up. So if you want to be bearish something, this is the last thing to be bearish on. But then again, you look at this fucking chart, and how the fuck are you bullish on this, right? This is really difficult to be bullish on. So I don't want to talk about them because they look like shit. And saying that makes me an idiot because they look infinitely better than the rest, right? So I don't want to talk about Solana. It's probably going to be the same for Luna. Gonna look like shit. People are gonna laugh at me. No, this actually is not too bad. Luna is actually not too bad. But then again, like, fucking hell, how do you want to trade this? Like, what do you want me to say? These are just stupid to trade at this point. Like, the fuck? What kind of TA do? Let's see. AVAX. I've been gone for a few weeks, so I haven't even looked at them. Oof, this one's rough. But yeah, like what the fuck? They're either charts that look like this, and then like this, or they're charts that look completely horrendous, like this one, for example. Even though like it's roughly at support, this one's actually like not too bad. And then I look like an idiot talking about them because they're gonna outperform anyway, right? If everything else goes up. But yeah, AVAX actually like one of the more interesting ones. Luna, impossible to trade. Solana kind of looks shitty. AVAX, at least at support. How does the Bitcoin kind of look on this? Nah. Yeah, fucking hell. I don't even know how to trade these. Like, you just close your eyes and buy if you're bullish crypto. You don't TA these. You don't need me to talk about them because, I mean, they've been outperforming. So if you see like bullish setup on like ETH, you buy one of those three instead, and then you make more gains. and then you sell when ETH looks shit again. Crypto Dawn, but doesn't talk about altcoins. Should rename to Crypto Dawn instead. I mean, there's like 3 altcoins that have been going up. Everything else been going down, and we've just went through the 3. I mean, like, look at this. Do you want me to talk about ADA? It looks like complete utter shit. There's like 5 altcoins that have been doing well in the last few weeks. Bitcoin Cash maybe also looks like shit. All of these look like shit, and that's on the Bitcoin pair. And Bitcoin has been going down, right? So, yeah. But we can go through some alts. Hit me with some altcoins. I'm going to shit talk your favorite altcoin. As long as it's not one of the, like, top 5 flavor of the month shit. But this is content. What is content? Talking about garbage. Or, like, talking about charts that look like this. Want me to show a chart that, like, curves backwards? Nah. Nah, my friend. Nah. Euro USD. Fucking hell, credit with the shit. Euro USD is actually interesting, though. So we can talk about it. So Euro USD. It looks like someone is fucking with my balance. Because I have a bunch of euro, and yeah, this kind of looks like shit. My euro's going down, but nah, this is like basically just like ranging since 2014. So every single suggestion Cred's made's been shit, because what the fuck do you want to do on this? It's just going sideways. This has like one move in like 20 decades. The fuck do you want to talk about there? Sushi's actually interesting. Sushi we can talk about. Fuck. There has to be a better chart than this. Is it? There's no way Bittrex is better. Whatever, we'll use Binance. I hate when Binance does this. So yeah, Sushi's been having like a few good weeks, right? I'll actually just use USD because this chart is driving me nuts. Sushi's been having a few good weeks. Reason being, basically, I mean, for one, Hisaka's been tweeting about it, but I mean, in general, there's been some fundamental changes. If you're interested in what those are, I mean, there's a bunch of people that talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because I just got like the news while I was chilling on the beach in Africa, so it's like not like I have the most solid kind of info. But basically, what happened is you have a fundamental catalyst going into or through resistance on the chart, and I think Sushi actually looks good on the USD pair. I think it's running into resistance, and it's gonna be like in the next 2 or 3 weeks, if price action stays as garbage as it has been on Bitcoin, you could see something like this start pulling back, and I think there would be a second leg on this thing. So I'm gonna look for that. Like, let's say we close up here, go a little bit higher next week, maybe go back lower the week afterwards. I'm gonna be looking into like buying this thing at like $8, maybe 8.2. If it doesn't just completely dump this week, like if Bitcoin just disappears, these kind of charts look really, really bad, right? Because you then close into resistance instead. This looks like resistance if we close red this week, and then it's basically a bearish retest, right? But if it does close above this this cluster this week, I'm going to be looking for a pullback in the next coming weeks, and then I'm going to buy that pullback in this area. So Sushi's actually an interesting one. Whoever kind of recommended that, a good job. I think there's a play to be made there if we have some strength this week and then a little bit pullback next week. Classic FX scammer, always at the beach. Yeah, I'm trading the yearly chart on FX on the beach, join my paid group. Same with uni, I guess. Probably. I haven't actually looked at the uni chart. I don't think there's anything there really. Yeah, this looks a little bit rougher. Yeah, I'm not entirely sold on this one. One chart that is also interesting is Wi-Fi. I've been telling Cred that I want this in the newsletter for weeks, I feel like. But I basically just said, like, if it goes up, it's gonna be like a decent trade, and then it went up and hasn't been a decent trade. So pretty glad I haven't got my will. But yeah, this is like range low, right? Broke through range low, got back, tested that as support again. So I think Wi-Fi on the Bitcoin pair is actually like a decent trade, because basically what you're doing is taking along here, the stop down here and the target of up here. It's something I am interested in getting in. The thing is, not really sold on Bitcoin right now, so I might actually get something like this with a wick to the downside. And then the risk reward gets much tighter, and I don't have to have like such a wide stop loss. That's what I'm waiting for right now. But Wi-Fi is one of the interesting coins I'm looking at. Sushi is one of the ones I'm looking at. I don't really care about AVAX. I mean, AVAX is not bad, but I don't care about Solana too much, and I don't care about Luna too much. Just from a setup standpoint, right? It's easier to find setups for the other ones. But Wi-Fi, interesting. Sushi, interesting. AVAX, if you absolutely have to, like, pick one of the like the flavor of the month or flavor of the year, basically almost free, then AVAX is one of the ones. But yeah, like these kind of setups I do like. It's basically the same setup that I took for XRP a couple months ago at this point. Where's my XRP chart? XRP BTC. I probably deleted it by accident. Jesus Christ, XRP USD just shot the bed so bad. Turned support into resistance. So probably not gonna buy that anytime soon. But yeah, those are like the altcoins that I like. But given this hilarious price action, even on the low time frames on Bitcoin, there's no rush. I just got back from vacation. Like, look at this garbage. While Bitcoin's behaving like a piece of shit, there's no real reason to jump into anything. It'll only take 9 months to play out. Yep. I mean, that's fine though, right? If you get like a 2x, 3x in 9 months, that's pretty nice. Don doesn't like the Saka tickers. I mean, I like sushi. I think the Saka is in sushi. But I don't like Luna. I don't like Solana. Jesus Christ, I'm starting to sweat. Like, this is when you know that you're not entirely healthy there. You stream and you talk about like a bunch of coins, draw like a bunch of imaginary lines, and you start sweating in front of the computer. That's when you know. And you start getting out of breath too. But yeah, is what it is. When will you sell your ETH? At what weekly close? I mean, ETH basically if the weekly close is red, which is like I'm 90% sure it's gonna be red. So either this week to kind of just close the position into the year end. I don't want to take it into next year. Or after the weekly close. Pretty damn certain I'm gonna have to sell this. If I got back home a little bit earlier, I would have sold it into 4.1k. But I was 1 day too late. So you're just nervous, buddy? It's okay, you're doing great. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I can't, like, it's such a nerve-wracking thing to do, to talk about imaginary lines in front of a few people. Selling here just ain't it. I mean, that I agree with, but sometimes you gotta, right? Sometimes you gotta sell here to avoid this. I kind of feels like this could obviously, like I think there's a good chance that we're just gonna be like putting in some consolidation before further down. The thing that I'm seeing basically all over social media is bulls being shitty loud and bears being very quiet and price just bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. And yeah, I hate it. It just gives me flashbacks. Excuse me, sorry about that. Why bearish when stock to flow is at 100k? It's gonna double within 3 days. Yeah, dude, how hilarious would it be if stock to flow actually played out? Like if it just legitimately put a candle like this out of like the chart and then went to 100k, we'd look like morons. But yeah, if you guys have been following this channel, I've been basically telling people to just disregard stock to flow because bullshit way to get to the conclusion that he has gone to. Like, I mean, I can draw this. I can take a Bitcoin chart, right? Put in log chart and then draw like whatever. What could we draw here? This is a dino. This is the tail, obviously. These are the legs. And then you get like a tongue. And that's why we're going to 150k. This would be the exact same reasoning as stock to flow. Now you know it. This is whatever. This is not a dino, but this is an animal. Whatever kind of animal it is. This is the reason why we're going to $615,000 because this thing would be better reasoning than fucking stock to flow. Well, if you wanna take that and make it into a thing, I don't give a fuck. But there you go. My opinion on it anyway. Sorry for my drawing. It's COVID. It's the only reason why my drawings are shit and my explanations are shit is because COVID's melted my brain. You really saw some shit in Africa? You wouldn't believe. Dude, Africa is actually like going on safari. The Serengeti is actually fucking amazing. Really cool to see lions and leopards and everything. I loved it. No one wants to take that? I hope so. If I see that again, I'm gonna cry. Lost the plot. I mean, I have lost the plot years ago, my friend. Years ago. If you're only noticing that now, damn, you lost the plot harder than I did because it's been a while. But yeah, that's the thing, right? I think if you use shitty kind of or faulty methods to get like to the right conclusion, that should not be hailed. It's like you having like pretty much the wrong way to get to an answer in your maths class. And I mean, I hated when that happened, right? When I had like the wrong way to get to an answer and then the right conclusion anyway, and got no points for it in math class. I hated that. But I get where the teachers are coming from when I'm looking at idiots like stock to flow, like plan B or whatever. Because what they're basically doing is like they're using something that's completely incorrect. And then for some reason, it is playing out somewhat closely, and then everyone's like, "Oh shit, this is so smart," but it's not. Stock to dino, yeah. Oh well, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be interested to see like how he kind of justifies whatever he's doing. It's gonna be interesting when you have like these fanatics. They rarely admit that they're wrong or have been wrong. They just invent something new. He has justified it? Oh shit. It's gonna be a shitty justification anyway. He said he was referring to some sort of average. Let me dig up his exact code. Oof. Oof. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I asked for tickets earlier and I didn't take a single one. I'm such a good streamer. Um, Sorry about that. I don't even feel like going through the list again. Um, Don, where were you in Africa? I was in Tanzania. I visited Zanzibar first. Um, Decent island. I don't really like. It's not. It's pretty chill there, but not much more. I feel like. Did a little bit of like scooter riding there. Drove around the island and explored it a little bit. And yeah, pretty beautiful places, but in general, like a little bit dirty, obviously. It's just sadly how a lot of African countries are. And then went to the mainland, did a safari and stuff, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun. 100k average cycle and regression analysis stock to flow model intact, says cred. Ugh. Yeah, whatever. I mean, just ignore it. It's not going to help you in any way. If there's one thing that you take away from this, just ignore stock to flow. Make your own shit. Be it like TA or be it something else, but don't trust stock to flow. Is life much more free in terms of time if you trade weekly to monthly charts compared to daily? I find trading daily, still learning, extremely draining, staring at charts all day. Yes. The thing is, I was gone for a month and I didn't miss a single setup. I missed one setup, which was basically this trade to this trade. And if I took 30 minutes to like seriously look at the charts and then or check out basically how funding looked and everything else, I could have taken that trade regardless. So yeah, you have more time for other matters, and I think most people should trade the higher time frames. The only problem with that is that like if you haven't traded for years and years, you don't really get much practice, right? If you have just like a setup every month or two, you trade so little that if you're just at the beginning of your trading career, that could be a little bit too low of an amount to kind of get into the groove of things, because it's like basically driving a car, right? Being in a trade, I mean, it's a shitty comparison, but I mean, it takes some time to get used to the feeling of like actually risking money on like a setup, risk management, all that kind of stuff is like basically like getting used to driving a car. If you have not done, like if you don't do it too like in too for too long of a time, you start getting like unfamiliar with it, and then you make beginner mistakes. So like for beginners, I still think there's a good like it's not necessarily bad to kind of get into groove of things with trading more, but I mean for me, like these kind of setups are the ones that I seriously trade, and then sometimes like if I'm in front of the computer anyway, I just take like smaller time frame trades with smaller accounts. And just have a little bit of fun. Stay in the groove, basically. But the higher time frame stuff, much more rewarding, much less stressful, and much more accurate. So there you go. There's like a mixture of something. Like it's not just black and white, but it's what you should be gravitating towards at some point, in my opinion. Especially the larger your portfolio grows. You'll see even the people, the crypto people on crypto Twitter that are like the flavor of the month, whatever. You're gonna see them like what oftentimes happens when you see someone go on a public run, right? So like they start out with very little and then they go parabolic. They like post about low time frame stuff more at the beginning of their like parabolic career, and then much less so just because like the larger your portfolio goes, the harder it is to trade the low time frames. It's just like if you trade a small account, there can still be edge in low time frames. The bigger your account gets, the harder it is to find that edge and keep it. So yeah. Do you think any chance equities puke will not lead to crypto puke? No, I think there's almost no chance. Like, I 99% certain if equities puke, crypto will puke as well. Cred actually called this breakdown when Bitcoin didn't close above 58K a few weeks ago. Yeah, Cred's a chat. So yeah, that's that. Anything else? Because I feel weirdly energized, but at the same time I feel weirdly drained. It's a weird thing. Like the entire COVID thing, like the only thing that I really have, the only symptoms that I have is having like a little bit of brain fog. So like my brain's just slower than usual. And for the people that are like, you're just imagining things. Before I knew I had COVID, I was like, this is fucking weird. My brain's just slow as fuck in the last week. So pretty sure I'm not imagining that. And yeah, like some digestive tract issues, but that again could be due to food I've eaten in Africa. Those are like the only two symptoms that I have, besides like a little bit of coughing and stuff, but nothing bad. But still, like, and being tired. But then again, like that is relatively normal for me. So who knows? Begging for sympathy? Yeah, please, guys, please give me some pity for my illnesses. Nah, I think like almost everyone has COVID, Cred included. So I think we're all in the same boat right now. Just get 9 boosters and wear 14 masks, bro. You'll be fine. Yep. If you go full bear, would you trade in the bear market or go trade in another market? I would not. If you go full bear, I think we're gonna be full bear on everything. It's not necessarily just crypto. And I would probably not trade other markets, but I wouldn't also I just wouldn't trade. If we go bear market here again, I'm just not gonna trade. I'm gonna take it easy. Maybe take a trade a year or 2 trades a year and then wait till the bear market's over. That's just, I've traded, and I mean, my trading career basically started, like, I got really successful during the bull market. And then my trading career basically started in the bear market. Because I outperformed most people during the bear market back in 2018. Was involved with me just sitting in the computer and being miserable for a long time, but I mean, it worked out. So I outperformed most people during the bear market. And that's where my trading career started. That's why I was like, okay, if I can make money while the market is going down, I'm just gonna do this my job. But I don't want to do that again. It's miserable. It's really hard to fight for the money that you're eventually getting, and just the vibe in general in the market is just shitty. I did that once, not gonna do it again. So if we flip bearish on the entire thing, I'm just gonna be on Twitter memeing, looking at the market every day anyway, because I wanna like get a good entry. But other than that, I'm not gonna be the guy that just trades there in the trenches with everyone else, because not worth it. That's how you know this prick is loaded now. Yeah, we'll just punt 1 trade a year. Meanwhile, if I don't get 17 scalps per day, I get no dinner. It's not how it is, my friend. But yeah, it's just like you have to kind of make that calculation for yourself. It's really hard to make money in a bear market. You can do it. It's not impossible. I've done it. But it's going to be at the cost of other things. So you kind of have to make up your mind on that. For most people, they'd probably be best off just working whatever they've worked if they're not full-time crypto, and then DCAing that money into crypto or like Bitcoin, and be done with it. And then you don't have to think much. You're not going to be depressed too much. And if it goes back up, then you can still decide on what to do. Jesus done on a rant on how successful he is. Well, how the fuck is that? Like, no, I was saying I was really good during this time. I had a shitload of luck during this time. Did okay during basically all of this. as in didn't fuck it all up and made a bit more money on top. A lot of people did better than I did during the 2021 move. And that's that. Not ranting on how successful I am. I'm sitting here with COVID. So with COVID and the headache, it's not supposed to be me bragging. Oh shit, great. Fuck off with the copy pasta. But yeah, that's it. I think it's more than plenty. Like I said, on Bitcoin, I can give like a brief summary because I've ranted a little bit. So you guys remember what's important. If Bitcoin dumps, everything else is gonna dump with it. It's just how it is. Look out for wicks below 43k. I think that's gonna be an interesting area, like somewhere between 43 and 40k. Gonna be interesting. I think we're gonna bounce there again if you go there. If that just doesn't produce a big bounce, I think we're legitimately going for 32. If we're going up from the support, and I mean we're trading in support right now, so there's a chance that happens. I think Bitcoin starts getting interesting again above 52k. Okay, that's Bitcoin. ETH wise, you want to see a close above 4k this week. If that doesn't happen, it just looks like it's cooked. I'm gonna be looking to get out of my positions. Would love to hedge some NFTs, but I cannot. So I'm just going to be sitting in those, just whatever. And with the other altcoins, we talked about Wi-Fi. There's a good setup there, I think. If it wicks down a little bit lower, there's going to be a trade idea at least. We talked about Sushi not looking too bad, and AVAX being at support as well. I think those are the interesting ones to look at. Don't think there's much more anywhere else. When you have like the entire market, the entire altcoin market look like shit, it's pretty difficult to pick winners. So gotta be a little bit conservative on that front. But yeah, it's just my view. So yeah, that's it. Big shout out to the sponsor of the show, which is FTX. Links to them is in the description. And yeah. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, they do the mobile. They offer the best mobile experience, in my opinion, in crypto. So if you want to have that, check them out. If you don't, which I mean, fair enough. I don't really trade on my mobile devices either. Then don't. But yeah, appreciate their support nonetheless, and appreciate you guys for coming by. We're gonna do something on Friday, Cred and I don't know what yet, but be tuned for that, and appreciate you guys so much for coming back, even though I've been gone for so long. See you guys. Bye bye.